Yes, yes, oh baby, yes. You know what that sound means? It's time for In the Paddock F1, Greeny and the Cheese. Oh yeah, and we are back in that great white north after a Rona hiatus. 2019 was the last time we were here, and for the 41st time, we are back in Montreal. And while you're there in Montreal, maybe take a little trip back in time to old Montreal. The streets and the buildings might remind you of a city called Paris. Hit up the shops and the restaurants. Maybe get some of that poutine. Do you like poutine, Michael? Or do you know what that is?
I love that Canadian poutine, man. I definitely know what poutine is. Been to Montreal.
For those of you that don't know, it is French fries with cheese curds topped with that brown gravy, baby.
Jersey fries, Canadian style.
And also, while you're there, maybe take a trip to Notre Dame Basilica and see those twin towers. And of course, no trip to Montreal is complete without a stop by at the Casino de Montreal. Let's hit up those tables, but don't forget you gotta know your French. I've been there. The playing cards are in French. I didn't know what the hell was going on. But this is no travel show. This is an F1 show. And we are racing on the man-made island, Îles Notre Dame, at the Circuit de Gilles Villeneuve. 14 corners, 3 DRS zones. You give it the full beans for 61% of your lap. And man, what a weekend we had. You needed like a boat on the track on Thursday. The great equalizer was still hanging around on Saturday. That's right, rain showed up for quali. Max took pole. Fernando Alonso was on the front row next to him, but Max got off to the better start. Fernando had an awful start, a shocking, awful start for Fernando. Virtual safety car followed. A full safety car made it a two-stop race for most people. Carlos couldn't get close enough to Max, who takes the win. Carlos second. Lewis takes third. We're caffeinated. We're medicated. Greeny, good evening, sir.
Oh, Hamilton! Finally, a podium again. True Mercedes love. The rain you did withstand. With overpriced ponchos and trinkets, the True North is reopened for business. From far and wide, oh, the Tifosi cried. And Verstappen, he wins again. Oh, Hamilton, one day they'll sing your tale. True underdog, the pain you did withstand. With hearts in hand, Red Bull had a plan. And Max, oh Max, slowly coming for your title. 77 away. 77 away. Max is 77 wins away from 103. He's
a lot of wins to go. It's a lot of wins to go.
All time.
Yeah, it's still a lot of wins to go.
Max Verstappen started the season 18th all time in wins, and now he's 9th all time in wins. Chew on that for a while. Greedy of the Cheese in the Paddock F1. We are back to back weeks. Day late. Hopefully not $1 short, and here we go. It is a wet and wild one. P3 was wet going into quali. That was wet and wild, and we had a much better day for race day than we did for practice and quali. And
Friday was nice.
Friday was nice, but. And Haas came at it. Haas was terrible all through Friday and Saturday until quali, which I didn't even mention Haas yet, but we'll talk about them later. What a disaster that was. But really the focus is, I think, on Max Verstappen. Got to give it up for Carlos Sainz, okay? Mm-hmm. He was right there till the end. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can talk about it later, but maybe Charles Leclerc, if he was in that position, as we saw earlier in the season, maybe he could have had a little bit of more of a tussle there with Max Verstappen. no knock on Carlos Sainz. And it was the rain in Spain. Even though we weren't in Spain, we were in Canada. We had two all-time Spanish drivers, at least one all-time Spanish driver, Fernando Alonso, having a ridiculous weekend until the lights went out. And that's kind of Canada in a nutshell. And Lewis back on the podium.
Lewis back on the podium. I got to give it to Max. It just really, really ridiculous performance. He was just ridiculous all weekend. He blew away everybody at qualifying. What is he, like a full second ahead of everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Something like insane. So Max is awesome. Carlos, definitely got to give it to Carlos. Great showing in second. Hopefully this is the confidence boost that he needs to get things going. I think Ferrari made a little bit of an error on Leclerc's car. I think they took out a little too much wing to try and free him up to be able to make some passes. I think they took out a little too much. I think that caused them the issues coming out of the slow speed corners. He couldn't get the traction to make a pass on Ocon there in the middle part of the race, which was a major part that slowed him down to be able to maybe get that possible podium position there. I think it was just a little error there, a little too aggressive on the wings. Mercedes, great showing. 3-4. Don't have the best car, but consistency does win, as you know. So got to get up to the consistency. You got to be up there to finish up there. So big, massive turnaround for Mercedes, though, from where they were on Friday to where they were on Sunday. Let's just put it that way. When the car was a drivable Friday, to be there on Sunday, that's very impressive. A lot of changes had to be done. You didn't know what was going to really happen going into Sunday because Saturday, of course, with the wet and everything, the wet's the great equalizer for everything.
You throw it all.
You might have this. You could throw it all in the garbage at that point.
You had Haas on the third row, okay? That's what you got to do. You got to get Haas on the third row, locking out.
A storm was ruined. A storm was ruined.
We got to get that for the show. I gotta work on that audio clip. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, just Google Conor McGregor Haas F1 and enjoy. I'm sure everyone at this point has seen, but a storm was definitely brewing in many more ways than one for Haas. I failed on that audio clip though. I should have had that up. That's definitely a total fail. But that's
Checo complete disaster on lap 8.
Disaster early too. And is that Red Bull reliability or a little bit of
I think it was probably a gearbox. So it's definitely possibly a reliability could be. Yeah, it's racing. Things just things break at times.
Things break
without any warning whatsoever. It's just it happens. But yeah, it's definitely can raise concerns for sure. At least it wasn't a power unit, which is just a gearbox. So they're sure they haven't gone through their allotment for the season yet. So no real concern there, to be honest, with one gearbox. You're allowed to change them after a certain number of races anyway. They have to go to a certain number of races before you're able to throw them out anyway. So I don't think it's a massive concern for Red Bull, to be honest. But it does throw up a little bit of flag for the people back at home at their Milton Keynes. So, but Max, just another completely dominant performance. Dominant. And Carlos just couldn't get close enough, even with DRS behind him, just not enough.
Honestly, I have to give it up for Carlos Sainz because he had 15 laps. I mean, Max is blowing people away all weekend.
He was right there behind him.
Stuck in there for 15 laps. You got to be impressed. You got to be impressed. I thought he was going to blow him away and win by 10 seconds. I didn't think it would be close. And Max Verstappen was one corner away, one wall of champions away, one moment away from losing that race. And
Carlos
stuck it out.
Carlos did send it there. The second to last lap, tried to send it. in the final chicane, but it just wasn't good enough. So
because she's chasing probably
you had to
the
do
best
something at
driver
that point,
right
but
now.
you got to do something. But I mean, definitely a
Um,
massively strong performance for Carlos. Something that you think it'll be a big confidence boost for him moving forward. You would have to hope, because he's had those iffy runs, and the pressure was on this weekend, knowing that Charles was going to be at the back of the pack, and he'd have to be the one to put it up there for Ferrari, and he sent it. He sent it for the weekend, and you got to give it up for him.
Absolutely, for Charles Leclerc coming all the way back. Listen, definitely the help of the safety car there. I think our first safety car, as they said, it wasn't the first or last lap since 2011 or something like that. So it's been a while since we've had a true safety car in Canada. But yeah, got to give it up, really, for what Charles Leclerc did, coming all the way to the back of the pack. But he finished fourth, right?
Fifth.
I apologize. Russell finished fourth. So you got to give it up for him coming all the way through the pack. And Fernando Alonso was definitely exciting seeing him on the front row. Haas, definitely exciting seeing them, but obviously the rain was the great equalizer, and everything came out in the wash when everything was slightly unequal on race day. And we had a beautiful day. It was great all weekend long. I mean, but they were, if you wanted to pay $25 for a poncho, they had you right where they wanted you. That was for sure. Because it's still amazing how they race in the rain like that. It really is. And I know it's tough, and it's a tough situation. But when they race in the rain,
tires spit off a lot of water, man.
They do.
Those
they
wets
do. It's true.
Throw away a lot of water.
Obviously, you are increasing your chance of danger in those situations. But everyone,
that's auto racing, baby.
That's all. That is auto racing, as we say. The true history. And did you see that? Was it a groundhog on the track? Gotta love.
Yeah, Latifi hit one.
Groundhog gets there.
It is. It happens quite a lot at.
Yeah, it does. It's basically been happening since the beginning of Formula One.
There's a lot. They trap them. They trap them on the island there all the time around the track, but can't track them all.
Yeah, no. So poor guy. But anyway, we will be back momentarily. Are we gonna head right into the Quizmasters Cockpit here? Should I start?
Oh, you know it, baby. I got some good ones for you this week.
Ooh, it's been a while since I have lost, but I think this might be my week. We have winners, we have losers. I'm sure someone's gonna get slapped. I am very curious to see who's gonna get slapped here. And of course, Greenybucks. So don't go anywhere. Greeny the cheese in the paddock F1. We're back after this. Yes, we are back reading the cheese in the paddock F1. We just came back. Montreal, Canada, get some poutine in your system.
Some good eating right there, son.
Let me tell you, I love gravy on French fries. Gravy French fries.
Who the heck does
it's gravy French fries and mozzarella cheese. Mozzarella. Some melted mozz.
Gotta go for the cheese curds, son. Gotta get some cheese curds.
I like the cheesers. You can get them at Yankee Stadium. You get that poutine. I think we've got poutine at Yankee Stadium. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't.
You get anything. You get you can get deep fried Twinkies at Yankee Stadium. So or Oreos.
Not like the old Yankee Stadium. Not like the old Yankee Stadium. You get beer, French fries, chicken fingers, and a hot dog. That's about all you get.
All I need is a dog, a beer, and a program. That's all I need.
Anyway, I'm sure nobody cares about baseball out there. Greeny the cheese in the paddock F1.
This is a Formula One program, sir.
It is time for me to fit my helmet and get in the car. And I've had some purple sectors over the last several shows, and I think
hot laps.
Cheese is
hot laps.
starting to wisen up and work a little harder to make some really tough questions here. So we have 3 sectors, 1 hot lap, Quizmasters Cockpit. I'm ready if you're ready.
Oh, I'm ready. You have your bell, sir.
Let me see.
All right, that might be the only
Testing.
time we hear it the rest of the night. So,
Ouch. Ouch.
question 1, sir.
That was ice cold.
Cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded. All right.
Question 1, sir. The Canadian Grand Prix has been on the F1 calendar since 1967. Name the circuits to hold the event.
I'm drawing a blank. Outside of Villeneuve, I'm drawing a blank.
All right, that's
Is
one.
that the only circuit to hold the event?
That is incorrect.
No.
Circuit de Villeneuve has only
No,
been
there's
holding the
definitely-
event since 1978.
97. Yeah. What was before that? I don't remember. I honestly don't know. I know I do know they raced somewhere else.
There
67.
is two other circuits to hold the Canadian
don't
Grand
know
Prix
this.
on the F1
I
calendar.
don't know this. You
Right off the
don't know
bat,
this.
baby. That's an.
That was the easy one. The gimme, and I blew it. Give it to me.
All right. 1967, 69, 71 to 74, and 76 and 77. Mosport up there in Ontario. And also 68 and 70, Circuit Mont Tremblant up there a little bit. I think it's about 100 miles or so north of Montreal, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
3 years it was the Canadian Grand Prix has not been held. That was 75, 87, and 09. If you didn't know that, sir, little bonus tidbit of information. And another bonus tidbit of information. Little, maybe slight redeem yourself, but you don't get the question correct. Did you know the original name? The original name of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
I got nothing.
It is Circuit Isle Notre Dame. Was the original name. So that's a big fat cantaloupe on that one. Moving on.
Call back in the pits here. I'm going to call back in the pits. I'm gonna have to slap myself. It might even not be losers tonight. It might be. You might have to start with slap yourself tonight.
Question 2.
Oh God.
Go. In 1991, in a dramatic finish to the Grand Prix, Nigel Mansell's Williams failed on him, broke down on the last lap, a few corners from the finish, handing victory to this driver, his 23rd and final victory in Formula One in a Benetton. Who was that driver?
Oh, jeez. I should definitely know this. Shoot. Why am I drawing a complete blank tonight on everything? Wasn't Nelson Piquet, was it?
That is correct, sir.
Wow. Oh, that took me a moment. I knew it was in there somewhere.
That is correct, sir.
I should have known that too. That was almost a gimme. I knew it was rolling around in my melon somewhere. Wow. I pulled that out of the fire. That was terrible job, but I pulled it out of the fire. Canadian tracks, I don't know why.
Very good, sir. How many world titles does Nelson have, sir?
How many world championships has he won?
Yes.
3.
Little. That is correct. That is correct, sir. Little bonus trivia question for you.
All right.
Question 3. 2 drivers are tied for the most wins at the Canadian Grand Prix, dating back all the way to 1967. Who are they, and how many do they have each?
Wow, I do know this actually. These two guys absolutely dominated this track. And that is Michael Schumacher and a gentleman named Lewis Hamilton, aforementioned. And they both have 7. They won 14 out of like 20 or something like that.
That is correct. That is correct.
They dominated that track. Absolutely. That one I knew. You should have started off with that. You should have started with that. I don't know why. I had no recollection of anything before in Canada outside of Villeneuve.
This would have been, I think, was it the 50-something Grand Prix in Canada? 50. Anyway. But that is 2 out of 3. So you're still a loser because you got to get all 3.
I should be. I deservedly so to be a loser. I barely remember PK, which was a terrible job. That was a legendary race. I barely remember that. And I had to like rolling around on my melon. And then I just had no idea about any other Canadian tracks, to be completely honest. And that was another terrible job. And
so we're not going to go to slap yourself. We're just going to go to losers to start.
Loser, just regular loser.
It's regular losers.
It's been a while.
And I got 3 of them for you. It has been. That's just you were trying to go for 3 in a row, but you got stumped right there on this first question. Ruined your party from the start.
Yeah, from the start. That was at least a level 2 question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I could have went even harder, but anyway, losers. I want to give Lando a loser, 15th, just not good enough. I know he's struggling with some engine power with the old power unit, but that's just tough noogies. He struggled all weekend. A lot of issues there for Lando, so we're going to give him a loser. Latifi, 16th at his home Grand Prix. That horrid pit stop. And I'm going to put it out there right now. That's going to be Oscar Piastri's seat next year.
Yeah,
something else crazy
I'm
happens.
going to put it out there right now that it's going to be Oscar Piastri's seat this year.
Wow! They're not even going to let Latifi finish the season. That's rough.
Look at Latifi versus Albon. Albon has 2 times, right? Twice he scored points this season in that same Williams. Latifi has not finished above 14th. Not finished above 14th all season long, and his teammate has finished twice in the points. And let's not forget the disaster he caused last year. Let's not forget the disaster he caused at the end of the season. Not there should be any vitriol like there was online towards him and all that other junk, but, maybe the top level of auto racing is not for him. And great that he had an opportunity. Wonderful that his family has enough money to give him that opportunity. But the party's over, and I think let's put Piastri in there because he absolutely deserves that spot. Anyway.
And my final loser, I'm going to give it to K-Mag. I got 3. Latifi was 2. I'm going to give it to K-Mag. That's 17th. Got in a little tussle there with Lewis to start. Clipped that wing. Had a piece hanging off. FIA called him in, and that was the end of his race. So he gets a loser, tough break, but had that good starting spot, and poof, there it goes. And those are my losers. The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of took everyone and stole everyone's thunder here. I don't want to be...
Well, if you don't want to add on, then that's fine. You could just, elaborate on some of the...
Hold on. I was setting it up. Jumping all over me. And I was going to say, McLaren is the all-time constructor winner here in Canada. And you said Lando Norris. Danny couldn't finish in the points. He was right there. Made Q3 again. Started on fifth row and couldn't finish. Couldn't finish. It was a little bit of a wild race, as we know, with safety car in there, but he couldn't finish. He finishes 11th. It's a little disappointing. I don't think it's good enough, especially under the circumstances. And, Mick Schumacher couldn't finish the race. There's been, including his uncle Ralph, eight Schumachers, Michael and his brother combined, so that have won at the Canadian GP. So, following in that tradition, I was really expecting a lot more than what happened with Mick Schumacher. And Sergio, I mean, was it his fault? Was it not his fault? Was it reliability? Was it, he just tends to always do this, and he can't be consistent. He was being probably more consistent than he's been in the Red Bull, but as of recently. But another day, and that's
$1 short.
Yeah, $1 short. Anyway, those are my losers, which is pretty much half the field. Can't be much more left. So let's go to winners.
All right, winners. I'm going to give it to George Russell. Another race, another top 5 for Georgie boy. Proving that he is not just Mr. Saturday. He can put a little show on Sunday when he's given some wheels. So give it up for Georgie boy. We're going to give it to Ocon with the 6th place. Was holding up Charles there for a bit of the good chunk of the race. Really good finish for Ocon in 6th. And let's give it up for Zoe. Finally finishes a race and throws in a top 10, 8th place. Got to give it up for the youngster. Got to give it up for the youngster. And those will be my winners.
Yeah, you also have quality Bottas for the second straight week as well. Got to give it to Esteban Ocon, who's just been consistent in there. He ends up in front of Alonso, who barely made it out of the loser category this week, although he probably should have been in there. And
it was borderline.
Charles Leclerc coming from the back row, and picking up 14 spots, finishing 5th. You got to give it up for Leclerc, because it's coming all the way back.
I could have picked that, but I decided not to because I figured we cover it as we did in the first segment a little bit there. So I decided not to.
Well, I'm running out of guys here. running out of stuff here. Running out of the field. And those are my winners. Which brings us to, of course, every week or every episode, somebody has to slap themselves.
I need to slap my goddamn self for that.
Who will it be this week?
This week's winner of the Slap Yourself Award. So get your palm ready, get that powder out, load it up, and that'll be Yuki Tsunoda.
Oof.
You're actually having a pretty good race. You come in the pits. I understand there's cold tires, but you come out the pits, you lock it up, and go straight on into the wall and crash out. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. In front of all them people. In front of all them lovely people. So Yuki Tsunoda can get out there, load up that hand, smack your damn self. Because that's embarrassing. You can't crash coming out of pit lane. I'm sorry. That's embarrassing.
And that is winners, losers, and the big slap. That's it for this segment. We will be back momentarily. Don't go anywhere. You hear a little music. And then Greeny the Cheese in the Paddock F1 will return.
Yes! We're back. Greeny the Cheese in the paddock F1. Oh yeah, boys and girls, it's that time. Time to take that fantasy ride to the fantasy island of Greentopia. Beer flows like wine, and the wine flows like beer. And the cannabis grows as far as the eye can see. We take that trip up the hill with our Greenybucks in hand. Only thing you can use Greenybucks for is betting on Formula One races at the casino at the top of the hill, just like Monaco. Are we cashing in, or are we checking out?
It's an interesting one this week. It was funny because I think both of us felt the same vibe this week. First of all, we both hit Max. I really, really had Carlos Sainz, and then I pulled back. I actually wrote Sainz at first, and I scratched it out and put Verstappen in there. And I won. As well did you win as well. Max is not paying out what, other drivers would for first, but we both won. Winning's better than losing. And Charles Leclerc, also a low return on investment, being the biggest gainer of the day, but we both hit that. Seems some obvious picks there based on the weekend. So it all came down to the trifectas. We both had Max in first. We both had Carlos Sainz in second. But both of us had different thirds. Will one of us win? Do you want to reveal who your third for your trifecta was?
Originally, I had Lewis Hamilton. I crossed that crap out and put Fernando Alonso.
Originally, it does not count. Yeah, I also did the same thing. I had Lewis Hamilton, and then I actually went with a fun pick. I put K-Mag in there for third. Definitely a better payout. But
that was an absolute living in fantasy land pick right there.
Neither of those picks came through. So we both take a little bit of a hit. You are still in the lead. You have 5,550 Greenybucks, and I have 5,540 Greenybucks. Are you kidding me? That's where we're at. Better luck next week. Maybe we'll have different thoughts on who's going to win the race.
2 weeks.
2 weeks, I apologize. Thank goodness it's not next week. And, and away we go. So, sir.
Yes, sir.
Anything to add before we take it down and get a little bit of a out of control. Technology is taking over. The AI is controlling itself. That was life in the fast lane. Obviously, everything decided to not work and then work all at the same time. So, yes, sir.
Right. Let's go to the big finish.
Wonderfully produced. We're trying.
You can slap your damn self for that. Slap your damn self for that.
That's some pretty poor production. Anyway, without further ado, we've actually turned to the page where I had my questions on to get you to the questions. Are you ready, sir?
Music? I'm ready. You gonna cue the music?
I got it. Away we go. Lewis Hamilton finally gets on the podium for the first time in 2022. Are you surprised it took this long?
Not really. Not with that rubbish Mercedes they're driving. So no, not really. Next.
Charles Leclerc sliced his way through the field from the back of the pack. At what point did you think he might challenge for a podium?
Right until the point when he got behind Ocon. Next.
Fernando Alonso had an epic quali, but a disappointing Sunday. At what point did you realize Alonso had no shot at the podium?
Probably pretty much the start when he had that awful start. That was pretty much sealed the deal for me. Next.
Lance Stroll's second top 10 finish of the year. Optimistic about Stroll and Aston Martin's second half of the season.
Not really. It's still a crap box. Next.
McLaren is thumbs down in Canada after being thumbs up in Baku. What McLaren squad do you expect showing up to Silverstone?
Who the heck knows? You never know. It's week to week. You got yourself all fired up that here comes McLaren last week, and I told you, hold that phone. Or hold. So you know what you can do? You can hold my beer on that one, all right?
Next. Guan Yu Zhou outqualified Bottas. Second points this season. Was this the best weekend so far for the rookie?
Probably. I'd say yes. Really showed himself this weekend. Next.
Haas had a majorly disappointing Sunday. Shocked at the Haas terrible finish to a great Saturday?
No, it's Haas. Next.
Nicholas
Come on.
Latifi finished 16th this week.
You root for him.
Nicholas Latifi finished 16th. Yeah, let's continue. Finished 16th this week. Hasn't finished 14th. Above 14th all season. I asked this earlier. Time for Latifi to go?
His days are numbered. Next.
Max Verstappen wins number 26, passing Jim Clark and Niki Lauda, 9th all time. Are we watching greatness right now?
Hold the phone on that one. Too early yet. Next.
Yuki Tsunoda almost crashes coming out of the pits. You ever almost crash doing something stupid?
No, I don't wreck a car. I'm not a moron. Next.
That is it. Finish out the last couple seconds of the music. You did it with 10 seconds to spare, my friend.
That's how we disarm a bomb, sir.
10 questions in under 3 minutes. Very impressive once again. Hey, if you like what you hear here, then definitely check us out on YouTube. Greeny and the Cheese on YouTube. Email us. We want to hear from you in the paddockusa@gmail.com, in the Paddock USA on Twitter. Hit us up. Any final thoughts or words before we take a fortnight break into Silverstone?
A little, to a friend of me and Michael's. Little shout out to, Josh Mason this weekend. Getting his first podium there. Twice, actually. At Spa-Francorchamps. First of many for young Josh. So a little shout out. And fortnight's time. Back to the home of Formula One. One of my favorite stops on the calendar. Silverstone, baby. Speed. Gotta love it. First race was held. Formula One. Going back home. Get pumped. Cheese's birthday weekend, too. Let's get
on
fired
your
up.
Birthday, 1950, the first ever Formula One race was at Silverstone. Queen Elizabeth was there. Will she be there next week?
I doubt it. She couldn't make her Jubilee. Most of that thing, so I doubt it. Lady's old.
No
She's
Jubilee.
She's like
no
90,
Formula One
man.
race. Good for her. She's like 96.
Yeah, she's like 100, so. Yeah.
96 is the correct year.
Close enough.
Older than sliced bread. Anyone over 94 years old is older than sliced bread. Just so you're aware. 1928 was when it was invented. Changed the world, my friend. Sliced bread. Anyway, we will be back for Silverstone in 2 weeks. Greeny and the Cheese in the Paddock F1. Peace.
Peace.